Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to the first In the Zone daily ACD recap video. These videos I hope to do going forward on a daily basis. I know that there might be some days that I will miss due to prior commitments, but going forward I hope to do these on a daily basis. And in these recap videos I will go over the best ACD setups that occurred on that particular day, and in these videos are intended to show the type of trades that the ACD method offers on a daily basis. So let's take a look at what happened today. First, let me identify some of the marks on the chart so you'll understand what you're looking at. This gray area is the opening range. I use a 10-minute opening range. This is a 10-minute bar chart. The first bar of the day is the opening range. I simply mark the high and the low, and that becomes the opening range for the day. I then apply my calculation for the A points to the top. Calculated up gives me the A up, and from the bottom calculated down gives me the A down. And of course my pivot range are my purple lines: pivot range high, pivot range low, and the middle of the pivot range is the daily pivot. And then I have my moving average lines on here. I use a 13, 34, and 55. These are Fibonacci numbers, and they line up with what Fisher used. Fisher used a 14, a 30, and a 50. I made mine into Fibonacci numbers, and they are exponential moving averages with the pivot formula added to it. So it's based off of high, low, and close instead of just the close. Okay, so going into today, we had a close below our pivot range on Friday, so the pivot range today should have been resistance. And as we pushed up into this pivot range this morning, you could have established a short anywhere in this pivot range. And whenever you place a trade with the ACD method, your first question you want to ask yourself is, where do I get out if I'm wrong? Okay, and in this case, you're going to get out above the pivot range high. Okay, so this pivot range should hold as resistance, and once you trade above the pivot range high, then you would be wrong, and you would of course exit the trade. So as the morning went on, price was struggling here at the top of the pivot range. It then pushed up to the A up point, and at this point you can see the wicks here on these candles, how it was pushing down, and this was showing you that it was struggling at the A point here. However, at about this time here, we were able to spend half the time of the opening range above the A point, which confirmed the A up. And this A up was an A up through the pivot, which is a very powerful signal, because you've got two indicators that have are telling you, giving you a signal. The pivot range, which was supposed to be resistance, has failed. It has failed as resistance. That's your first signal. And then your A up is being confirmed to go long with a opening range breakout at the A point. So that's two separate signals telling you to go long, and that is a very powerful signal. And Mark Fisher would say, step on the gas, increase your size, and reduce your risk. And the way you reduce your risk is, in Fisher's method, he would use the bottom of the opening range here as a stop for an A up. Okay, and so the way you reduce your risk is, once you get through this pivot range, you now can use the bottom of the pivot range as your stop instead of the bottom of the opening range. So you're reducing your risk, increasing your size, and stepping on the gas for a very powerful signal here. And of course, this led to a trend day. In the last hour, we had a little bit of profit taking here on this day. If you'd have missed this here, You could have bought this pullback. This was a nice pullback to buy here. One way of buying a pullback is the bar that makes the low here. Okay, once you trade above the high of that bar, you could have gotten long in here. And of course, there was plenty left in it after that. So to recap, you had a resistant pivot range. If you established a short trade in here, banking on the fact that this pivot range was going to hold and then it broke through the pivot range, you'd get out. You're wrong. This is a small risk trade. Okay, and now you're waiting to see if this A could confirm. Of course, since the pivot range has failed, I don't think you'd want to fade this A up. You'd want to wait to see if it confirmed. Once it confirmed, okay, then you want to go with the long here, and it led to a beautiful trend day. And let me point out one other thing here. In this area here where you have the pullback, notice how the moving average lines get stacked and sloped in order. They were in a sell here, they crossed over here, they get into a buy, and in here the moving average lines are telling you it's a buy also. All right, that does it for today and for the first of these daily recaps, and I look forward to doing more. If you have any questions, you can send me an email, you can send me a direct message on Twitter or something, and I'll be happy to answer any kind of questions that you might have. All right, guys, that's going to do it, and we'll see you later.